So can I ask, is there like a philosophy of what goes over there, what's here, and what's here? It kind of seems like there is a structure.
Well, yes and no. It's not exactly what I want it to be because of the angle of this desk. I told you the VU meters don't work properly. So a lot of the stuff that's over here has to be over here because of that. Yeah. Because I'm the age that I am, at one time when I mixed, you had to have a bunch of outboard reverbs. Even when Pro Tools was around, Pro Tools could not, the horsepower was just not there. So you had to have a bunch of outboard stuff. But at one time you had to have a bunch of stuff. So PCM 70, I've gotten rid of some of it, but I still love this Yamaha SPX 90. That's the 990. There's a patch in there. In fact, it's probably on there. Yeah, 26 Symphonic. What an incredible piece. These aren't very well known. The Roland SR 330s, SRV 330s. What a great reverb those are. But over here, there's two effects processors over here as well. The Line 6 stuff, and I'll get to my pedal collection here in a minute. But what I like to do is I like to route a sound through this mobile pedal rig that I have, and I will use some kind of a distortion or whatever the case may be, auto wah, dynamic wah, whatever the case may be, and then run it into this delay and also mangle that delay through this filter on the other side. I can create some extremely fun electric, like lead guitar delays and stuff. And I've got it to where this old Motu box, if I, as soon as I tell Pro Tools to send the MIDI time code out, these will sync up to the tempo of the song. Right under that, the Manley ELOP, so that's like their version of a LA3A, LA2A, whatever you want to, put in that category. But it's fast as light. This is the fastest optical compressor I've ever used. They're lightning fast. It sounds really good on piano because it's so fast. Under that is a little prize. That's an original 60s era Teletronics LA2A. And that was pulled out of Gold Star Studios out in Los Angeles when they closed in the 80s. There's no telling what albums have been, there were two of them in that studio. And the guy I bought them from kept one of them. So under that is two channels out of Ronnie Millsap's old Neve console. Up here, while we're filming this is we can't even talk about it, but by the time this video shows, it will have came out. This is the newest Warm Audio piece. It's a tube preamp. That's based on the old Ampex tape recorder, the preamps built into them. These are in a little thing because I take them downtown a lot. These are the Rupert Neve 9098s that Amec made after he left Focusrite. Unbelievable. The EQs are so good. It's not as colored as the old 1073 modules or something like that. Think of it as the newer Rupert Neve designs. Then I have the Avalon 737. I've loved these forever. These sounded like a record. I know some people don't like them, and I never have understood that. They're tube, but they're very clean, and maybe the people that didn't like them just want tubes to be gritty. Back down to here. This is kind of what I call stereo subgroup stuff and stereo mat. Generally, when I use the distressors, I have them linked together, and they're on drums. I don't usually use them, hey, this one's on vocal and this one's on bass or something like that. When I mix here, if I'm going to use a distressor it's going to be a plug-in. Below that, I have the Audioscape Decomp. This is based on the EMI Chandler and under $2,000, which if you know anything about the EMI Chandler stuff, it's way over $2,000. Yeah. Nothing else sounds like them. If you want that sound, you have to have the EMI, or in this case, luckily Audioscape copied it. So I'll use this on drums as well. Under that, I have the T-Comp from TK. Right under that, I have the Heritage Successor, which is like a one rack space version of a 33609. And I've been using those on vocal subgroups too. That's kind of been my number one go-to recently. Then under that, I have the Warm Audio version of a VCA SSL style. Because right under that, I have an actual SSL. I know it doesn't say SSL. I like this better. I use this more. This is a very little known piece. That is a John Oram. He goes back to the old days of Trident. It's so versatile. It could be your stereo bus EQ. It could be anything, but that's kind of where I've had it just because of that excitement that it creates. Right under that, two DBX 160s, X's. Everybody knows what those are. You can find those used, the X's and the XTs. And then right under that, a gate stay level. So that's an actual tube variable mu. This is one of my favorite pieces in the whole studio. The Locomotive Audio 14Bs. These are variable mu compressors with adjustable attack and releases. Audioscape, Blue Stripe, and the Revision F. That's the original Warm Audio 1176. It's a low serial number. I bought that real early on and love it. That one's great. And then an original DBX 160, the VU. These are 2 channels pulled out of a Neve console, 1272s. The Better Maker stereo bus EQ. It's a Pultec style. It's a passive. A couple channels of Warm Audio 73s. If I'm going to track something. Tone Beast, that's a Warm Audio preamp that's kind of based on a 312 circuit from API 550B. Audioscape LA3As, and typically what I do is I run these as a group across electric guitar buses. Grace preamps, you know, just for something super transparent. Radial reampers, Locomotive Audio. This is a stereo tube preamp. And then all 3 of these are the Warm Audio Pultecs, but I push signal through them to get the tube thing. Lastly, we have the Universal Audio 610, 2 other flavors of tube pre. Okay, this is cool. So I have this pedal collection, you know, that dynamic wall is one of my favorites. So the MXR Submachine is cool, the Moonshine is cool from JHS, you know, Tube Screamer. And I have back here in the back, I have radio boxes and Signal Arts.
So this is all patched in like to a hardware insert or something?
I have a snake on the back that goes into TT. So I actually, when I'm going to use this, I drag it out. The Big Sky and the Strymon, I'm a huge, the Big Sky is unbelievable. The original Boss, and it still works great. These were originally made for a keyboard, so it goes in hot. Strymon El Capistan, that's cool as heck. You know what these are. I love that stuff. You know, it's hands-on fun.